Vashim Yahawashi, Vashim Kagadash, the water Yahweh, water Yahweh, Vashim Yahawashi, Shalaki Yahweh, for my sins as I cry. Baba Yahweh, to your mercy all the time. Call on Yahweh, Vashim Yahawashi, Yahweh, for a power the time. Call on Yahweh, Vashim Yahawashi. My Father, I love you more than life anytime. Call on Yahweh, Vashim Yahawashi, Rakakudas Yahweh, for your mercy all the time. Call on Yahweh, Vashim Yahawashi. Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Obadiah Yahweh coming to you this evening on what would be considered this somewhat of a new year period. Well, we all know how that is, right? I really was going through it today a little bit. Had a lot to deal with, a lot to go through. And but call on Yahweh Shem Yahushua. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua that we are still here. But hopefully, as I said in the last lesson that I put out for the Father, for Yahweh Shem Yahushua, in His mercy and His grace, that this could be the start of the year of no more years. And if that is the case, then that would be great. So we're here this evening to do a lesson. And the title of the lesson is, I think it's relative to where we are in terms of this fictitious new year that we're rolling into here. And it is YAHAWAH'S, Stages of Tribulation Expedited through Prophecy. YAHAWAH'S Stages of Tribulation Expedited through Prophecy, which is really what we're dealing with and what we're doing. If we're in this truth and you're in this truth and you are and you have been for any considerable amount of time, you will clearly believe and understand that we're going through stages. But before we get into that, let's say salutations to all of the Akim and the brethren that are out doing the work diligently on the highways and byways. We want to give a definite, admirable, and respectful at the highest level that we can offer to the apostles who have been diligently bringing this truth out for decades in and decades out. And their accuracy is basically impeccable in terms of what is being offered. I know there's been so many questions about what percent of truth is there, 100, this, that. What's important is the accuracy of Yahweh Shem Yahushua's truth, okay? That produces the percentage of the highest value that can be, is the accuracy. We can clearly see that there are a multitude of different organizations, camps, whatever you want to, basically say, are out here doing the work in whatever platform that the body of Hamashiach is provided and offered them to get the work done. And we have to question their accuracy, but we don't have to question the accuracy of the One West doctrine that came out without high levels of what we would call bread that has a lot of leaven in it. There's no high levels of leaven in the bread that came out from the apostles who broke away from some of the doctrines that were becoming very wayward in reference to the truth. And so that brings them into the level of grace, mercy, and blessings that brings the level of accuracy that's important. We all should be considering ourselves, I would say, proselytes to the One West doctrine that was given to those elders that were before all of us in terms of what was brought out. You know, if you do not know who they are, you can easily find out because it's very evident that the information is available through GMS and they can tell you that. Priest Ariel, King Marshall, they were all contributing. Of course, Albert Bivens from the beginning. Yahweh, El Yahweh. It's all there. The one we clearly know that the accuracy and the truth came through the One West doctrine process of spiritual edification that was brought down through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And we also clearly know that if you're not bringing out the sacred name, and if you know the sacred name and you're not bringing it out and you're not using it, you don't even have to concern yourself with acting as though you're dialed into the truth, because you're not. It's just as simple as that. No one has the authority to change the sacred name. No one has that authority. No one has the authority to decide not to use the sacred name, primarily because if you're not using it, then you are already in error. You already have broken your contract. The contract is void if you're not using the sacred name to expressly bring out the truth in terms of the word that's been given. So that just stands to reason. But we're going to get into this and we're going to bring out a bunch of things, but just want to say a few things that's very important. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai has always strategically through the living word, through Yahushai, who is the spirit of prophecy, things through the Father. I like to emphasize this because this is very important. That's why Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai has always leaned on me about saying that what we're supposed to be doing is praise, worshiping, and praying to him. That's the first love. The law says you have no other God, no other power, no other than Yahweh. He's the top. He is the top of the pile, baby. He is it all the way around the block. He gave his son power to operate under his power that he has created through his eternal existence. That power was levied to Yahushai to judge and control and disseminate all that has to be done in creation. This is very evident. You can't get past that. But we have to make sure that we understand the disclaiming process of bringing truth forward through Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. The Father doesn't get mentioned very much, as you can see. We get a very strong precedent in bringing forth Yahushai, which we have to because he's given all power for the Most High. But also, you see that a lot of the religious practitioners and even various individuals who can be considered in the truth, they emphasize a lot of the apostles. And I'm talking about like Matthew, Mark, Luke, Paul, John, Barnabas, James. They emphasize the 12 highly, and sometimes they even bring Paul and various other apostles into the mix, where it seems as though they're pressing them up against Yahushai as being more authoritative in terms of the truth and what's coming out and what needs to be brought out. This becomes very problematic when it comes to, rightly dividing the truth and breaking down the truth in terms of what is spiritual common sense and what doesn't make any sense at all. And we see that to be extremely volatile when it comes to the wacky tackies. They're they're gung ho hard into that situation. They this is something they do more than just about anybody else. Is they try to bring in the validation of the 12 and try to act as though Yahawashi came and changed the Most High's word to a degree where the law has been put away with, or the law has been set aside, as opposed to what is the truth and worshiping in spirit and truth. This is so far away from the truth that you can imagine. If you can think that you could put the law away, then you're saying you're putting Yahawashi away, which completely bugs you out and makes you completely off base with everything that you're talking about. He's the living word. He is the word incarnate. He is the word brought forward first before anything exists. He was formed the foundation of the world to bring forth the truth that is now out in the evident inaccuracy through the men of the Lord who are bringing this out. So clearly, you cannot separate the name Yahweh B'Ashem Yahawashi from the word, and the word from the truth, and the truth from the accuracy. You can't do that. And if you are doing that in any way, shape, or form, the Most High has got you on a major spiritual blockage program. Will he release it? Well, I said before, he said ultimate high level of love, which is praise, worship, which is your action to get that blood rushing through your system, because there's always got to be a sacrifice of blood in order to appease what has to be covered. Now, we know that we're not talking blood ordinances like what Yahawashi nailed to the cross, but I'm talking about the rushing of the blood through the vessel that you have as a living sacrifice as your reasonable service for the Most High. The brothers are doing that. Do you see them out on the highways and byways, and they get very they get very zealful, they get it going, and their blood is rushing through their system, which is that reasonable sacrifice. And then, of course, the praise is the conversation that goes between them and those individuals that are selected to hear the truth, if they can receive it, and if they're awake to do so. So therefore, we know that this is what we're dealing with. Now, this all centers still around the fact that, as I said before, Yahweh, stages of tribulation are expedited through prophecy. And that's what's happening. Everything that the Most High has done and has set in motion, it operates in a series of stages. And it's the same thing in terms of the vials that are poured out, in terms of the trumps that are blown, in terms of their information provided, as well as the cup, the vial, the seals. Everything is a stage. The stage is meaning the time periods upon which things are to drop and become manifested in our situation. This is what we're talking about. Everything is done in stages. So if we follow the method of operation of Yahweh B'Ashem Yahawashi, we'll clearly see throughout the Bible and throughout the Word, throughout the Torah, throughout everything, all things were made in various stages, and their stages had to be fulfilled. As one stage finishes, the next stage goes on and on. So it's a process that happens in that way. This is why he gave me this lesson to say, for you, Yahweh's stages of tribulation expedited through prophecy. We know what tribulation is. That's a form of trouble that can also bring in a method of salvation, because through the method of salvation, you have tribulation bringing forward. Shalom, shalom, since I see you out there. Okay. So because you know that tribulation brings us through the stages that we have to go through in terms of our salvation, we know tribulation is apparent in what we have to deal with. Expediting. If you expedite something, that means it's going to start moving a lot faster and a lot quicker. We can see this to be the case right now with prophecies that are all coming down hand over fist as they move forward through, this transitional period the Most High is moving. Through prophecy. As I said before, Yahawashi had an hourglass of time that was associated with his portion of what he had to fulfill in prophecy for Yahweh. Okay, when he came, that hourglass was set in motion. Once that hourglass was set in motion, as we know, it was fulfilled when he conquered the cross and he rent the Holy of Holies. Once he rent the Holy of Holies and opened up the door for the opportunity for the curse of the law to be removed from those that are repentive and those that have been cleansed by his blood through his sacrifice. At that particular time, that particular hourglass was fulfilled. Now, once that hourglass was removed by Yahweh, his father, the father brought forth his hourglass of prophecy. The hourglass of prophecy has been set up in the sands of time that are running through the hourglass of prophecy are happening at this point, and we are at a pinnacle period where things are going to start moving a lot faster, okay? And this is what we're going to speak to today in terms of bringing out some of the precepts that support this particular understanding. I just want you to be prepared for that so you can get ready. I'm going to start in the book of Matthew, but we're going to touch also in various other scriptures. And I got some notes and stuff I took down that I think are important that we're going to stress. We're going to pull some precepts that support the fact that the hourglass that the Father has now, that particular process is in play. It's prophecy. It is an algorithm of transitional prophetic process that cannot be changed by anyone in heaven or anyone else except for the Most High. And he has no plans on changing it because it's an algorithm that he set up to operate in this manner. So therefore, there won't be any change to the process, okay? And if he does decide to change it, it's his prerogative. It's not ours. We don't have any choice or call in the matter. He makes the call, and if he decides to change it, he will. But other than that, no one else can change it. And we know this to be true, basically for the fact that Yahawashi doesn't know exactly when he's going to return. So if the Most High has set things in motion and said already that the prophecy that he's bringing forward is an algorithm of purification that is going to offer a creation cleansing, which you heard me say these things over and over again, all right? It's all based on how our obedience is towards the prophetic process that's been set in motion. And it will deal in stages. So for each stage, we have a participation level, okay? So we have a participation level for every stage that we have to go through in order to get through this tribulation. I've said this before and I say it again. My brothers did a very good and excellent job when, they brought in talked about the carnalists and how they will not understand this truth in terms of thinking that they have some idea that they're going to raise up and do some things that's outside of the Most High's will. No, you're not. You will not fight against Esau's blessing. That's not going to happen. And then you also have a series of what I would consider to call them nano niggas or nano ninjas, Shalaki, because the nano these nano ninjas, okay, they are what we can consider to be the 2/3. All right. As I said this before, and I'm going to get into scripture after I break this portion down for you. If you happen to be selected or predetermined to be one of the or many of the 2/3 that are going to have to give a sacrifice on this side, it's a very high percentage chance, if not completely the chance, that all of the nanotechnical juice capacities will be part of your sacrifice. Let me say it that way. The nano juice faculties of participation will be part of your sacrifice. And because that could be the case, because 2/3 have to be deleted on this side here, it's highly probable that, if not completely factual, that all of the attributes of the nano ninja juice effects, along with the charagma and the MOTB, will all apply to the 2/3 that will have to give a sacrifice on this side. Okay, let's just take it down to where the rubber meets the road. There's 1/3, and then talking about also the elect and the very elect. Everybody has to go through a series of fire. The level of the fire is totally contingent upon Yahawah Shim Yahushai. no one else. Your predestinated process of participation on what level of the fire you're going to go through, or should I say from the lesson, what stage of the fire you're going to go through, because it's going to happen in stages, is very important. Now, your participation and your and let's just say your activation, because there's going to be many nano ninjas who are going to be self-activating based on all of the attributes of the things that have been presented to them that they had to participate in, as far as Lucifer elixirs and and I can what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Those attributes are going to be very factual. Our people in the truth, Israelites and any other nations alike, they're going to participate in that process. And once they participate in that process, it becomes an infection. It becomes a process that will just spread like worse than wildfire. In the process of contamination will become quite horrendous. Let me say that. The process of contamination will be quite horrendous. And the ones who provided this particular dastardly devilment of offering this particular type of sacrifice that had to be portrayed upon 2/3 in the rest of the nations, they are following the orders, and they're going in line with the directives of YAHAWAH'S. Most High controls all things, as I've always said. I'm going to continue to say it. There's nothing that is within and under his creation that he does not control. So we will all, me, you, and everyone else, we will go through the stages that we've been predestined to go through. And the scriptures tell you, if it weren't for Yahweh understanding and showing that the mercy has to come through shortening the time and the period, roughly paraphrase, there'll be no flesh saved. So we know that. So we know that the nano niggerettes and the nations of the world and all of those that oppose and go against Yahweh Shem Yahushai and blaspheming the sacred name and blaspheming his sovereignty and his righteousness, 2/3 of our people, judgment starts first in the house of Israel, in the house of the Most High's house of his chosen people. And then it's going to spread through everywhere else. But no one is going to get out of here untouched, because we all have to go through a stage of fire. So, even if you have a member in your family, let's just use this as an analogy or an example. It could be very true. If they happen to fall under the category of the 2/3, and let's just say they had to get the nano niggerette juice, okay, and they got the nano niggerette juice, and you happen to have a very open and intimate relationship with them, the process of passing the technology through the system that you live and operate in day to day is going to become very problematic for those that are not in this truth, in terms of knowing the sacred name and operating at the level of the sovereignty of the sacred name. So that means if you lay with something that is, let's just say, contaminated with the nano niggerette juice, and you have that Lucifer elixir with that in you, it's a good possibility that transmission will be succeeded. Okay, I'm just saying. Now, if you have not, of course, willingly decided to participate with that particular nano niggerette juice, then you're not, and you're in the truth, then you will not be susceptible to the judgments and the wrath that comes from that process. But if you know that this is what you selected to do and you've done it, then of course, then you are self-activating, and when that self-activator fires up, you will light up. I guess you'll light up more than anything they've ever seen on any of their holidays that they celebrate. So this is what we were talking about in stages. Stages of this will occur. Stages of zombieism will occur based on nano-niggerate juice-induced individuals. You're going to have a multitude of levels that will come about from various different other platforms that are going to be produced and pushed towards you. I'm sure you can understand what I'm saying. If you are above an 8th grade level, you should not have a problem with understanding the dialogue upon which I'm giving you this information. We always have to be extremely cautious in the things that we say because of particular community guidelines, and we want to make sure that we can provide you with as much directive and information that's necessary for you to be able to go through the stages of the tribulation that the Most High has set loose on this entire world. And he told you that he would go through it with you, okay, all the way to the end. He would be with you to the end. So that means no one's going to slide around, escape around it. And it's highly probable, if not factual, that the chariots will be showing up in the nick of time, because it says that the elect will scarcely make it. So if you're a scarcely make-iter, if you're going to make it in a scarcely fashion, then what that tells me is that it's going to happen more towards the end of consummation as opposed to in the interim. So while we go through the interim process, it's going to go in stages. And you have to be able to survive each stage with your obedience and participation based on what the scriptures tell you you're supposed to do. And the men of the Lord are giving you directives as best as they get it from YAHAWAH'S, YAHAWAH'S, and the Ruach HaKodesh to what stages and directives you need to go through to get there. You cannot fight against the puppetized Esau Edom, because that's not the nature of what we're supposed to be doing. You are not to be an infidel. You protect your person and your family. It's always been through the Bible that they've always protected their families as they travel through various situations and tribulations in the Bible. So you're going to have to protect under the guidelines and the supervision and the advanced information from the Ruach HaKodesh on how to do this, all right? And the methods upon which you will protect your family so you won't be an infidel has to do with the fact that you must be prepared. And to be prepared, you get into this Bible, this one right here, okay? And you read and find the directives and the way that you're supposed to do that. And once you do that, you will be protected, because Most High will send reinforcements with his angels to protect what you are prepared to cover. It's real simple. No one's going to be a Rambo. Don't be an idiot. There's no Rambos here in this truth of ours. You're just going to be not an infidel, but you're going to be a prepared, sacred, blessed participant for YAHAWAH'S, YAHAWAH'S. And that's what you have to be looking forward to. Okay? You know, don't be a carnalist and think that you're going to fight against somebody, because you're not. Okay? You're going to protect your position with the power and the love, grace, and mercy of YAHAWAH'S, YAHAWAH'S. And that's all you should be expected to do. All right? Most High is always shown in scripture and through history and prophecy that everyone that he talked to and spoke to and gave direction to, he told them to prepare before he dropped the bottom out of what he was going to do. You got plenty of evidence of it all through all the prophets, all the ones that all the similitudes of saviors, Joseph, Noah. Noah was given information to prepare because the flood was coming. He talked for 140 years telling them, what was coming. And he was told to go prepare. And he did it. Okay? So don't get it confused and don't get it twisted. No Rambos, no nano niggo Rambos doing nothing out here. You ain't black, you ain't a color, you ain't all this other stuff, African, that's not you. You are the chosen people of the Most High. Okay? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, this is who you are. So prepare based on what the Bible says in the scriptures. Follow the examples of what has been shown before. Praise, worship, and pray, and get into the truth. And you'll see the manifestation of the power of YAHAWAH'S. Let's get into some scriptures. Let's get ready to rumble. Okay. Let me get my glasses on here. Okay. All right. Let's get to it. First place we're gonna go. My diatribe. I had to do it. I had to give it. This is what the Most High tells me to do. If you can't hang with the fact that I got to tell you what I got to tell you, go somewhere else and go watch something else. Go turn on whatever you want to watch. But this is what I have to do. Okay, so you're gonna have to deal with it. Matthew chapter 24, and we're going to start at verse 4, and we're going to get 4 and 5. This is Yahushua. We're in his world now. He's going to tell us, how we have to deal with one first level of the stage that we're going to deal with in prophecy, which is deception. I said it before. The biggest power that's going to come during this particular transitional period as we're coming into this part of things moving a lot faster is deception is going to be of the highest level and of the most potent. It's going to be very potent and very high. And that deception is going to come from Esau, Edom, the puppetized demon that is being poured forth from the left-hand side. And it reads, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. See, right off the bat. Okay? 5, for many shall come in my name. See, the wrong name. All right, not even coming in the sacred name, but they may try that. Okay? Saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And of course, you know the rest, because you can read it about, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See ye that be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay? All right? And then we go to 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors, what you said at 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Now, nation against nation means you're going to have tribes of culture, a culture of people that are going to go against another culture of people. Okay? This is what they meant when it says nation against nation. A culture of people against another culture of different people. 2 nations are in your womb. Okay? You know that this is what was said to Rebecca. This is what we're talking about in terms of nations against nations and cultures against cultures. This is what we have coming. So you must be prepared. 7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. See, that's a stage. That's a stage. A beginning is a stage period. It's a part when things start to happen in sequences, okay? Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted. When you get afflicted, you can get contaminated. You can become, basically, you can become toxic, afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Isn't that the case right now? Don't we see that to be the case right now, that we are hated among all nations? Because that's exactly what's going on. And we cannot mistake that at all. One of the things that I remember very clearly is, the Old Testament period, around 721 BC, is when the northern kingdom of Israel fell out and just was all jacked up. And then, of course, around 587 BC for the southern kingdom of Judah, they fell out. So you can see that already started the stages of debacle and things going wrong. Okay, you can clearly see that to be the case already, right under that premise. We're going to go and talk more about, of course, the prophecies that are on the way and things that are coming down. I've got some precepts that I want to bring out to you to prove to you that the prophetic process is built upon stages. Okay, let's go to First Thessalonians. I want First Thessalonians chapter 5, 21 through 22. Okay, so go with me to First Thessalonians chapter 5. All right, and we're going to go from, as I said, 21 to 22, and it reads, "Prove all things, hold fast to which is good, abstain from all appearances of evil." Okay, so you have to prove all things, and this is where we know that the accuracy of the One West program that was given by YAHAWAH'S that's filtered down through the brothers and the elders of the apostles of GMS have brought forth accuracy. And then you see everybody else that's done spin-offs and break-offs of their organizations in their different divisions and stuff. And you can notice that their accuracy is off. Their accuracy is way off in many things. A lot of them, like I said before, they celebrate Friday sundown and Saturday sundown. They do that. You know, they don't follow the protocols in terms of how they're supposed to present themselves as a living sacrifice. They're all in T-shirts and doing all kinds of stuff. They're selling trinkets and smell goods and albums, and you know, it's just way out. That has nothing to do with the way the truth is supposed to be portrayed. And so you say you're supposed to prove all things. How can you prove that the things that they're doing is valid? You can't prove at all that Friday sundown to Saturday sundown was actually a Sabbath. You say prove all things and hold fast, which is good. That's not good. So why are they holding fast to that? See, that's another stage of spiritual blindness that's been put upon them. They're stuck right there, and they can't get out of that because the Most High won't let them come out of that. And that's where they are, okay? All right, and okay, now I want to go to also 1 Corinthians 13:2. Okay, so we're right here in Thessalonians, so let's pop out and go to 1 Corinthians, all right? And we got, what, 13:2, right? And it reads, and though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries. See, now, who are they talking about? When Paul speaks about this, is he bragging? No, he's been given the ability to break this down for scattered Israelites all over where he has to travel. Okay, so if he says, all right, and though I have the gift, it's a gift. It's not something that you can easily pick up and acquire and just start reading. You have to be predetermined and predestined to do this. The gift, okay, of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. Okay, so what does that mean? If you have not charity, that means you have nothing. This is easy. See, what is charity anyway? Charity means that you have to perform something for someone without you believing that you have to receive something in return. Okay? You don't have to receive anything back from anyone to give this truth. Okay? Because even in the scriptures, it tells you that, you know, you can buy and sell it, buy and sell not, and give it the truth. Right? So freely given, freely obtained, or freely acquired, freely given. Roughly paraphrase, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. Charity suffereth long for, right? Okay, Shalaki. 3. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity eveneth not, envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up. So you can't be proud and you can't be arrogant in this truth in terms of breaking it out and bringing it down to the level where people can understand this. You can meet people where they are, but you edify to the point where you raise them up if it is necessary and they're capable of understanding it when you bring forth and break down the truth. I've always said it. If you're going to reprove and move, before you reprove and then move, give the contrast. Show what you did wrong, name the violation, present the scripture that judges the violation, present the dialogue to address it. Make sure that you disclaim the fact that you don't have the power, but YAHAWAH'S does, and then give the contrast on how to not do that through the scriptures. not your own personal opinion. Give through the scriptures how to correct the violation that is wrong. This is the portion that has to deal with making sure that you cover charity that suffereth long and is kind. Charity is not envious. It's envious not. Charity is not vaunteth not in itself. It is not puffed up. You're not so proud in that. You have to have humility. All right. So I wanted to make sure I brought those two precepts out, right? All right. So next I want to go to 1 John 4:1. Okay. So most of us know that one. That's pretty evident. We kind of all live off of that one a lot. Okay. 1 John 4:1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits, whether they be of Yahweh, because many false prophets are come out into the world. Now, see, this is why we always emphasize the fact that if they're not using the sacred name, they pretty much label themselves and mark themselves as primarily operating under false prophet activity. This is what you're doing. Now, are they actually false prophets completely? That could definitely be the case, but we don't get to make that call. Only YAHAWAH'S gets to make that call. And they may be false prophets, and then they may not be false prophets because they just might be spiritually blocked for a specific period of time. They may come from under this blockage, just like Paul, when he was Saul, and he had the scales that were put on his eyes when YAHAWAH'S, when Yahawashi knocked him off the horse and spoke to him in the language of heaven, which is Paleo Hebrew. Saul, Saul, why hast thou persecuted? Why you persecuted me? I am Yahawashi, who thou persecuted, roughly paraphrased. But he had then, at the point in time, had scales put on his eyes. And when the scales were put on his eyes, he was unable to see certain portions of the truth. But he was still on the mission to go to Nicodemus in order to continue what now he, as a chosen vessel of the Most High, predestinated, that he was going to now do the work. Okay, so therefore we know that there could be prophets that also have some similitude of spiritual blindness. We don't know how long, and we don't know why. That's what the Most High decides. It's his purpose, it's his choice, and you don't get to question it, nor do I. Okay, I just understand that. Okay, all right. So then we know in 1 John, test every spirit. That's why we also say that we're going to look like every nation. You can't say just because someone is in an Edomite package that they may not necessarily be an Israelite, because we've been scattered all over the world. So therefore, we're going to come in all kinds of different packages, but the spirit has to be tested in order to know that. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to go to Amos chapter 3, verse 7. All right. So go with me there to Amos chapter 3, verse 7. Because see, what we're doing here is we're knocking down these strongholds of falsehood, and we're knocking down these methods where people come at us and try to tell us we don't know the truth, we don't know the sacred name, we don't know the word. All this is what we need to block out, and we need to fight against it in a spiritual way for YAHAWAH'S. That's the way that you're supposed to contend for the faith. Okay. Don't get into long debates with these people. That's not necessary. Quote, like I said, quote the violation under your reprovement. Bring the information that shows what the judgment is for that violation. Explain YAHAWAH'S is going to do the correcting. And, bounce out after you give them the contrast of what they should do to do right. Because if you leave them in the state where you reprove and you just move and they never get no direction on how to not do that anymore or be involved in it, they're going to still have demons come right back in them. If you have to remove one demon, they'll come back sevenfold, even stronger. So you got to make sure that you put that in. All right, we're going to Shalaki, Amos 3:7, and it reads, surely Yahweh power, the Lord our power, will do nothing but he reveals his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. And he's going to only reveal accuracy. He's not going to reveal something that's twisted or twistology or universalism or total inclusion, because that doesn't make any sense. If Yahawashi is being sent back to take vengeance and separate individuals in the world from his chosen people, how can everybody be offered salvation? It's not possible. You see what I'm saying? So he reveals this information to the prophets, and the prophets are telling you this, but you refuse to understand it because you're blocked. You're spiritually blocked from it. It's not very hard to see that. It's pretty easy to see that. Okay. Okay, now I want to bring this one in. This is 2 Kings, and then I'm gonna jump back. So let me go. My spirit hit this one when I was praising and worshiping and praying to the Most High, and he gave me this one, and I felt like it was a contributor to where I'm going in terms of what your mannerisms are and how you're supposed to handle yourselves in a very humility-based fashion. And so this is why I want to go to 2 Kings 20 and 5. Okay, so go with me to 2 Kings 20 and 5. All right, and this is talking about Hezekiah here, and it says, "Turn again and tell Hezekiah, the captain of my people, thus saith Yahweh, the power of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, and I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will heal thee. On the third day thou shalt go up unto the house of Yahweh, and I will add unto thee thy days 15 years, and I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city for my own sake and for my own servant David's sake." See, that's stages. Most High showed you how he decided in these stages. He told Hezekiah, captain of his people, Lord Yahweh said, the power of David, the father, I have heard thy prayer. That's a stage. I have seen thy tears, another stage. Behold, I will heal thee, a stage. Okay. On the third day, thou shalt go up into the house of Yahweh, another stage. And I will add unto thee 15 years, a stage, and I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, another stage, and I will defend the city for mine own sake, another stage, and for my servant David's sake, another stage. Stages are being done in prophecy, and it's not going to change. We have stages we go through, and we have to do what? Occupy and participate in the stage. Within the stage, you have duty and work to do within each stage. And now we're at the point where stages are moving faster right now, coming into this period of ending time. So you got to be on point and understand that this is where it goes. The manifestation of what's going to happen at the end of each stage takes our participation in it. Okay? So you got to make sure you're not an infidel hanging out doing what? Squat when you're supposed to be participating. Get your directions and your directives from the scriptures on how you are to move. Okay? All right. I get to digressing. Y'all got to forgive me when I go there, right? All right. And of course, Matthew chapter 7:15, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. And this what we have a lot of ravening wolves running around that got on all kinds of band uniforms and looking all matched up and looking like some kind of a singing group or some kind of a musical band or whatever, and the song and the tune they're singing seems to be death and destruction for you if you follow them. Okay, so I love watching a couple of my favorite groups out there. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire from the fact that they bring a multitude of spiritual songs that I was relating to in the past that, spoke to my spirit. I know they got some wickedness that's going on with them in terms of some of the way they present some of their imagery, but I'm not all into that. Sometimes the message that's in the music is more spiritual than the presentation of the picture. So, don't get it twisted. I don't want to digress there, but I'm just saying there's uniformity, and then there's uniform wearers that have their own agenda that don't have anything to do with Yahawah Shem Yahushai. Okay, pretty clear. All right. Okay. That's where I got Matthew 7:15. Okay, I want Matthew 7:12. All right, let's go there. All right, Matthew 7:12. You know, Yahawashi again. All right, therefore, right, therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye even so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. So, what does that mean? Let's read it again. Therefore, all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you. Now, what would you rather have them do to and for you? You want them to show you and give you directives on how you are to move through the stages that will bring you closer to your salvation in terms of what the scriptures tell you and how to do it. This is what accuracy is all about. If you're not getting accurate information on what directives and how to move, you're going to go into a ditch. You're going to fall into a snare. That's what's happening. And the ones who are taking you to this snare, they're doing their best to let you fall in, but they're not, because they've already taken a bag to be able to walk around and get around it. Okay? Okay, so we got to be careful of this. All right. So, and why? Because the Most High's got protection for those that are chosen by him. Go back to 1 John. I'm going to 1 John, and we want chapter 4, verse 4. And he says here, ye are of Yahawah, little children, which means he's talking about the Israelites, right? You are of Yahawah, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So that means you have to get the directive to go through the stages so that you can be greater that what's in him and you from him than what's in this world, that he says, if you're a friend of the world, you're an enemy of YAHAWAH'S. Okay, so let's not get it twisted. This directive that you need to understand. Okay, my notes, next one that I'm going to pull from here, all right, it's Isaiah 7:14. Okay, so let's go. That's what I got for my next precept. Isaiah chapter 7 and verse 14. Therefore, the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name. They said Emmanuel. It's not that. It's Yahawashi, Hamashiach, right? Butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good. Do you know how to refuse the evil and choose the good? Or are you under the deceptive power that YAHAWAH'S has used through his puppetized demon, Edom, that is being perpetuated out here in the world to give you a morsel of something that you think is good for you, and it's actually not butter and honey. It's bitter, and it's not honey. It's worse. It's fake honey, and nothing worse than fake honey, because it's GMO'd, and it's going to cause you and your body and everything else that's going on with your spirit to be rejected. So that's why you don't want to have you don't want to go and get in that Negroid shock, the nano niggerite juice. You don't want to do that. Okay, you got to stay away from that. So next I want to go to Romans. All right, and bear with me. Going to Romans. We're going to Romans chapter 3. All right, Romans 3, and we want 21 and 22. All right, Romans 3, 22, and it reads. All right, yep, and it reads. But now the righteousness of Yahawah without the law is manifested, being witnessed by the law and the prophets. So you can clearly see if the righteousness of Yahawah without the law is manifest, being witnessed by the law and the prophets, what are they telling you? That means that you have to go through Yahawashi. Yahawashi, you have to have faith in Yahawashi, and you have to practice the righteous acts from Judges chapter 5 and 11. You cannot get one without the other. It has to come in a total package. Just like I always tell you, praise, worship, and prayer. You have to have all of it. Because in order to activate the total higher love that Yahawashi wants to see, you need to be able to offer that, okay? All right, 22. Even the righteousness of Yahweh, which is by faith of Yahushua HaMashiach unto all and upon all them that believe. For there is no difference. Is right. All right. Now, what is the difference? This is to the scattered. See, when wacky tackies read stuff like this, they automatically think universalism. No, the Most High is not participating in, nor has he ever participated in a collective universalism in terms of everyone that's going to be accepted and brought into true power and rulership in the kingdom. No, it's only for the Israelites. We're talking to the scattered Israelites that are scattered all around the world. This is not including any of the other nations of the world, okay? That's why he said in Psalms 147, I show my word to Jacob, my statutes and my commandments to Israel. I have not dealt so with any other nation. He comes in a volume of the book. Do not try to separate and think that the New Testament is offering you a way in. It does not. It is just for Hebrew Israelites. What is it that you believed and had before you got a hold of our sacred book? Go back to that, because this is not for you. Okay? Just so you know. All right. And I read that in terms of Romans 3, 21, 22. And for all have sinned and come short of the glory of Yahweh, being justified freely by his grace through the redemption that is in Yahushua, the Hamashiach Yahushua, whom power hath set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood, to declare his righteousness for the remission of sins that are past through the forbearance of Yahweh. So what he's telling you is that this is the cleansing of the sins of Israel, not anybody else. Because if he was cleansing everybody else, who's he coming back to destroy? Who's he coming back to get rid of if everybody's covered? So that doesn't make any sense. Don't fly. All right. All right. So what do we need to do? We need to rejoice, right? So let's go to Zechariah 9:9, because then we can find out how it is we're supposed to rejoice, right? Zechariah 9:9, and it reads, Rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion, shout, O daughter of Jerusalem, behold, thy king cometh unto thee. He is just and having salvation, lowly and riding upon an ass, and upon a colt, the foal of an ass. Okay? Now, we know he's not coming back this second time like that. That's when he came the first time to redeem us, okay, from the curse of the law. But this time when he comes back, it ain't going to come back like that. He's coming back as a powerful angelic force from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and he's going to be kicking, dragging, and taking names. So if you one of the names that he has to kick, then you must be one of the dragons. It's real simple. It's not complicated. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go to. I think I'm gonna go Deuteronomy 18. Yeah, because I had that one, and I think I like that. Deuteronomy 18, and I'm gonna start at 21. Okay, so bear with me. And if thou say in thine heart, how shall we know the word which Yahweh hath not spoken? Right? When a prophet speaketh in the name, the true sacred name of Yahweh, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which the Lord Yahweh hath not spoken. But the prophet hath spoken it presumptuously. Thou shalt not be afraid of him. So if you got a lot of these doctrines of devils coming out of these false prophets that don't have the accuracy of the word in total completeness, and what they're saying isn't coming to pass, why would you follow them? You're not supposed to follow them. That would be an error in your way, and then that would be an error in the way that you operate. Do not do that, okay? All right. This automatically brings me right into Matthew chapter 5, because that backs up what I'm saying here. Matthew chapter 5, and you know where I'm going, 17. All right. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Okay? Verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. all been fulfilled? Well, no. Why? Because it's stages. Just like I said before, Yahawah's stages of tribulation expedited through prophecy. This is what Yahawah is telling you. It's still stages. All right? And he backs it up with his proof through Micah 5, because people always ask, well, how do we know you got the truth? How do we know what you're saying is right? You know, you could be wrong. Or, you know, well, what does Micah chapter 5:2 say? Okay, it says, but thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel, whose going forth have been from old and from everlasting, Alpha to Omega. Okay? For all you wacky-tackies who think that Yahawah is the Father and the Father is Yahawah, the Father doesn't have an existence. In other words, what I'm saying is, he is self-existent. He doesn't have a beginning, Shalaki. He does not have a beginning. There's no time when Most High was created. He is creation. He has always been creation. He is continuous creation. Now, Yahawah is called Alpha and Omega, okay? Alpha means there's a beginning, right? An origin. Omega means what? That it is being fulfilled forward. The beginnings and the endings of various stages. That's what we're dealing with. There's a stage. Alpha's a stage. Omega's a stage. The Most High provides the stages through Yahawah and his resources, his angels. Okay? You see how that ties together? It's real simple. It's not complicated, okay? And so basically what we are trying to get you to understand is there's individuals that have been sent. Now, if these individuals have not been sent, then who has? Who else is bringing accuracy? Please, if you can, prove it, show it, because it's not very apparent that anyone else is doing it, okay? And so that brings me to my one of my final precepts here in Isaiah 6 and 8. Okay, so let's go there. Let's go there. 6. Isaiah 6, and I want verse 8, right? Right. Also, I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, here am I, send me. And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not, which we see is clearly the case. Make the heart of the people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest ye see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. Stage, 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 stage. If that ain't stages, then this lesson is all wrong. Okay, so please. All right. 11. Then said I, Lord, how long? Question. And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without men, and the land be utterly desolate. This is what we're going to have to go through these stages. Now, if he tells you that this stage is coming, get prepared under the way that the doctrine of the scriptures tell you, with the men of the Lord who present the accuracy. Don't be an infidel and sit around and think that you can't go through the fire when he's told you you have to go through the fire. How hot do you want it to be? Now, you could go through the fire with an asbestos suit on because you got prepared and you got one. Now, I'm just using that as an analogy. That way the fire is still going to be hot and you're still going to go through it, right? But the bottom line is you were prepared. See, refined by fire is important. But the point is, when you go through the refiner's fire, do you want to go through harshly or do you want to go through in a way that's controlled? I'd rather go through control with YAHAWAH'S leading me and moving me through the scriptures to tell me what I need to do so I can be prepared like Joseph was, as opposed to not knowing what to do. Now, the Hebrew children, the three who went through the fire, they were prepared. They were prepared because they didn't pipe down to the sound, the music, and everything that was being told that they were supposed to bow down to. And they told Nebuchadnezzar, don't you think they got prepared before they told that king that, no, king, we can't worship your idol and what's going on with your music and all that? No, we serve YAHAWAH'S. And so, yeah, they got themselves praise, worship, and prayerfully prepared before they were still put through the fire. They still had to go through the fire. They were the elect. They made it through the fire because Yahushua was in there with them. And who knows what he was discussing, but it could have been something along the lines of, listen, this is just a stage that you're going to go through. You're not going to be harmed in here. I got you. I got you protected. You know fire was going to hurt you. Yes, you are going through the fire, but check it out. You didn't go through the fire in a way that it was harsh to you, but you still went through the fire, even though it didn't turn out harsh for you. It could be the same way now. You can go through the fire, but it doesn't necessarily have to be harsh for you if you follow the directives of YAHAWAH'S and what he says in these scriptures. Translate it accurately. Finishing. He said desolate. Then it's 11 again, and then we'll finish out the last two precepts and we can close out. Then said I, Lord, how long? Question. And he answered, until stage. And he answered, until cities be wasted without inhabitant, stage, because there's a comma, and the houses without man, comma, stage, and the land be utterly desolate, stage, comma, 12. And the Lord Yahweh hath removed men far away, stage. Where did he remove them to? Did he remove them to bad or good? Okay. And there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land, stage, right? Which we see coming now. This is what's coming to you. Isolation, tribulation. That's a great stage of forsaking in the land. Okay. 13. But ye in it. Oh, this is good to finish out. But yet in it shall be a tenth and stage, and it shall return and shall be eaten, stage, as a teal tree, and at stage, and as an oak, stage, whose substance is in them, stage, when they cast their leaves, stage, so the holy seed shall be substance thereof, stage. See? Go through the fire, get through the fire, do what you're supposed to do under the guise and guidelines of YAHAWAH'S only, not men. And you will be with him and he will be with you even unto the end through those stages. Call Yahweh. Vashim Yahawashai. Vashim Rakakodas. Suara Yahweh. Suara Yahweh. Vashim Yahawashai. Shalaki, my Father, for my sins that I cried. Call Yahweh, Vashim Yahawashai. Rakatha Yahweh, Vashim Yahawashai. Call Yahweh, Vashim Yahushai. Shalaki Yahweh, for your mercy every time. Call Yahweh, Vashim Yahushai. Shalaki Yahweh, for your mercy every time.